Hey guys, Gravender here. What's going on? Welcome back to another episode of Marvel Contest of Champions. And today we're going to be continuing on with the How to Effectively Use series and taking a look at Grey Hulk, aka Mr. Fixit, aka Joe Fixit. So, I mean, this guy's went by so many different names in the Marvel comic universe that it's not even funny. This guy is actually the original iteration of the Hulk because Stan Lee originally wanted him to be gray as opposed to green, but you know they had issues with ink, so they couldn't go with gray, and they had to originally change him to green to support the color palettes that they could actually use back then. But so they went with just making Joe Fixit more of an aggressive kind of character that Banner didn't want to be. He was more of like the kind of like a sane Hulk at points. So he wanted to wreak havoc, he wanted to cause mayhem, he wanted to be the bad guy. And that's essentially what Joe Fixit was. And in the very beginning stages of the Hulk, that's kind of what he really was. He was, you know, you had Bruce Banner, who was kind of the good guy. You had Hulk, who was just a complete and total roid rage. And then you had Joe Fixit, who was a conscious, not exactly as intelligent as Bruce Banner, but definitely a really conscious Hulk who could project his rage in certain areas. But inside the Contest of Champions, I think that Joe Fixit has definitely caught some really bad slack because of the fact that Willpower used to be so pretty buff, and now people just kind of overlook him because of the fact that he was so bad to play with whenever you had to go up against characters with Willpower that people just didn't use him. And now that Willpower has been debuffed, he's not so bad. I still don't think I would use him in the sense for Alliance War defense, because he's still going to put off a pretty decent amount of debuffs on the characters he's going up against that's still going to trigger Willpower. But in the sense that he's not really that bad of a character to take in on offensive purposes is pretty cool. He has probably the only, no, not probably, he does have the only regeneration property of any Hulk in the game, which is really cool. It doesn't tick really as much. It's kind of on par with Old Man Logan's regeneration property, but mine is currently a 4-star. I have him as a 4-star here, sitting at rank 3, level 30 of 30. 9,110 on the health. It was pretty decent as a 3-star unawakened character. 732 on the health, I think, is the big detriment. Or not health, but on the attack is the big detriment. But he gets so many different buffs that it's not even funny. Now, double down having him awakened is even better, because you have the possibility of getting Gambler's Ruin twice. So it's only for a short time that he gets the second buff, but it's still nice to have that second buff, and you can recalibrate that basically anytime you want to with a heavy attack. So let's get into his abilities. At the beginning of the fight, and whenever he lands a heavy attack, Joe gains a random poker suit and lets loose a different aspect of the gamma irradiated gangster he is. So that's kind of what we're just talking about now. An enhanced immune system provides full immunity to the poisons of the battle realm, which is basically what you get with any of the Hulks. Here are the biggest key factors for him. Hearts. Joe triggers his accelerated healing ability, granting 15% health recovery per minute, which, again, like I said, it pops up as like a 15 on the tick scale if you have Willpower fully maxed out. You can see it from the video fight footage that I've got above when he does have Heart suit on. It's a really, it's useful, but it's not so useful in the way that you get from characters like Deadpool or Wolverine. It's not the maxed out healing factor kind of regen. It still comes in pretty beneficial sometimes, but it's not the most awesome healing factor in the game. Spades. Mr. Fixit is morally ambiguous at best and knows how to make his punches hurt. Each attack has a 14% chance to weaken or fatigue the opponent, reducing attack by 10% and critical hit rate by 5%. Spades is probably the one that gave him his worst card dealt from people, just because of that fact that we get the weaken or fatigue debuff on the opponent, and that just triggers willpower exponentially. So if you go into spades, really, if you're going up against anybody in arena, or if you're taking this guy into Alliance Wars on offense, your best bet is to try and stay out of spades as much as possible, because you do not want to put those debuffs off on people. Clubs, Joe isn't some dumb brute, and he's smart enough to take advantage of anyone who thinks he is granting 10% critical hit rate for every 5 of his combo hit meter. Now that's pretty awesome too. Clubs is a good one to go into. Honestly, hearts, clubs, and diamonds are all pretty awesome to be in. Spades is really the one you really want to stay out of. So with clubs, it's kind of like Star-Lord and Cyclops and Rocket Raccoon's signature abilities, only with crit hit. Every 5 of his combo hits, he's going to go up 10% on his critical hit rate, which is pretty awesome, especially with some of the synergy bonuses that he does have. Diamonds is the one that really kind of sets him aside from everyone else. He can go into Hulk Rage like Hulk does, and he may not be as big as Hulk, but you still won't like him when he's angry. Joe gains up to 40% attack based on lost health. This is kind of what makes him kind of key to me in playing things like, not arena, but adventure, going in doing missions. If he loses health, and you can see it from the video package that I put together up above of him as well. I played a few matches, and I did get him into the diamond suit in his last fight, and he had like 700 health going up against that superior Iron Man. But he was still easily able to take him down, because I tried to keep him in diamonds. And his attack was up 40% based on lost health. So I mean, it was easy to me, even fighting through the regeneration properties of the superior Iron Man. I still didn't have an issue with fighting him. So I mean, I love the suits aspect of it. I think this is probably something that did make people, when he first came out in the game, be a little bit elated, because of the fact that this was something that we hadn't had yet, and it was new. And then people started actually getting to play around with him, and they saw that, well, some of his suits, or at least one of his suits, is a detriment to willpower, so we don't like him. And that was kind of the consensus that really kind of pushed it over the edge, that people stopped using Joe Fixit, or thought he was a really awful character. But with willpower's change, he's not really that bad anymore. He's not an awful character. Special attack 1, 55% chance to inflict bleed, dealing 33% of your attack as direct damage over 5 seconds. This can actually kill a character if they get enough stacks of bleed on them. It's pretty awesome. I like it. Special attack 2, 100% chance to stun for 2.8 seconds. So we've got an automatic 100% chance to stun off of the special 2. And the special 2 does a pretty significant amount of damage as well, and it's pretty cool to watch. Special attack 3, 100% chance to inflict bleed, dealing 240% of your attack as direct damage over 3 seconds. So it doesn't last very long, but it is a very potent bleed, and it is a 100% chance guarantee. I like Joe Fixit. I do. I think he's a pretty decent character. I don't think he's overall the best character in the game, but I think if you out there have him as a 4-star, and there's not really a lot of other options for you, this guy's definitely a good one to go to. Synergy bonuses. He's got a 6% armor with Wolverine, 7% crit rate with Moon Knight, which is awesome, 7% crit rate with Ms. Marvel, which is absolutely insane too. That makes it at least 14% crit rate right there, if you put those two together, and a 6% attack with Hulk. So if you put those 3 on a team, I'm not worried about the armor. Never am. The armor's not that huge of a deal. I did have all of these guys on the team in the video package up above where he was fighting those. So he did a 6% armor, 14% critical rate, and 6% attack extra. So I mean, he's got some pretty good synergy bonuses. If you paired him together with, I don't know, just the 7% crit rates, and found some more that can match up with those other guys to get more crit rate, it could be a pretty good crit rate team. I like Joe Fixit. I do. I like most of the characters in this game, though. I don't really have an issue with a lot of them, other than, let's say, Iron Patriot, and that's Iron Patriot Awakened. I like Iron Patriot even when he's not awakened. But overall, I don't think he's that bad. So for me, best placement for him is just using him in adventure mode. Just going in regular missions. I think he would be the best. That's the best place for him. That's the best place you're going to get the most out of him. I don't know so much if I would take him into Alliance Quest on offense, or if I would take him into Alliance Wars defense or offense. But overall, he's a pretty solid character for doing adventure, and I'm sure that he will come in handy sometimes, going up against characters. So, like, if you just wanted to go through and just waylay and mash away on characters, you could definitely pair him up with someone like Hulk, and you would have a pretty decent team right there to do some questing with. But alright guys, so that's going to be it for this episode. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you're having a great day. Also, happy Thanksgiving to any of the viewers that are watching or here in the States. But that's going to be it. Thank you guys. If you did enjoy the video, please leave a like on it. If you're new to the channel, please consider leaving a sub on it. And as always guys, we'll catch you in the next episode. Later.